How to build an attractive body as a busy man. This video was made in mind for the man who's making his body and health a priority, but not his entire job. This spoke out directly to me when I first started lifting as a little a comparison, same shorts and everything. Maybe not the same beach, but also on a beach. A lot more muscle on me, a lot more confident, less I think someone called me a twink in the past. So like, less twink-like too. A lot more happier, confident, and obviously a lot more attractive nowadays. And best part, I can have this attractive body. I built it alongside with my work hours. Back then, it was working for a job, like 30, 40 hours where I was on my feet, and now it's doing my own thing, building my own business. So let's get this started. If you're someone who's looking to make his body and health a priority, keep watching. Social media is lying to you. You have to train like a bodybuilder to build an attractive body. Go to the gym 5 to 7 days a week. Pull legs is the best split ever. It is all bullshit, right? You're not going to get more results just by doing more work. You're never going to look like these guys because they have their own genetics, because they're on gear. And this really isn't the most attractive physique to women. And that's why there's two things called the male gaze and female gaze that I listed right here. The male gaze is the bodybuilder, get as big, get as strong as possible look. If you get that kind of size, you'll gain respect from other guys in the gym. But girls are, for most of them, maybe like 90% of them, there's like 10% that may still want you. They're gonna be intimidated by you, and not in a good way. They're gonna like flock away. They're gonna think you're overdoing it, and it kind of shows like having a fit body shows off that you have the discipline. But when you overdo it and look like these guys, it looks like that's your entire life. Like you have nothing else to offer. So when women see that, they're instantly turned off. Again, there's the majority of them, but for like we're playing for majority, not for like the whole like spectrum, right? Now, female gaze. This is actually the way to go if you want to attract women, if you want to build that attractive body as a busy man too, because it's easier, it's more time efficient. These guys, they make it to the gym their entire life. They're spending hours upon hours in the gym versus these guys, like, sure, they're on like the celebrity diets and workouts and whatnot and maybe taking some gear, but these are easily attainable naturally as a natural lifter. So no, you don't need these 4+ sets and 300 grams of protein to truck every single macro, take gear, and make fitness your entire life to build an attractive physique, because that's not your goal. Your goal isn't to be attracted to other men. You want to build a body that you feel confident in, that you have high energy in, that you feel respected in, but also at the end of the day, women like you can attract a partner with that. Or if you're with a partner, have her more attractive. Imagine her like, she's like hugging your biceps, kissing them like mine does to me. Like it's a great feeling to have. You just get this sense of like respect and love that you wouldn't otherwise feel when you're, like me, when you're like super skinny and you don't feel like you have a lot of self-worth. I'm not going to lie to you and say that once you build the dream physique, you're going to attract all these women. You're going to, you're going to have them flock to you left and right. But what I am gonna say to you is, as long as you keep up with your business, as long as you keep up with your work, making the money, don't make the gym your entire life, be personable, have social skills, and don't be a complete weirdo. It's gonna be so much easier because having a nice jacked body like Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars or Hayden Christensen and Brad Pitt in Fight Club, it's just gonna open up so many more doors of opportunities for you. Speaking from experience, when I was looking like the twink back there, there's no girls that want to talk to me. I was very self-confident, not self-confident. I was very just wasn't very confident in my body, and I didn't like the way I looked, and that transmitted through my actions. I didn't have the discipline I do now from building like the kind of body, and the thing about having a body is like I said earlier, it's your resume for discipline, and girls love discipline because it shows that you can lead yourself, and when you can lead yourself, that tells them that you can lead a relationship, that you're a healthy minded individual. Again, don't overdo it like these guys. Otherwise, they're like, yeah, you're disciplined, but you're taking things up the ass. It's kind of gay, and you're making the gym your entire life. You're probably a boring person. You're gonna live like a robot because girls don't want that robot. They want someone who's, of course, having the attractive body, but also has a life. Damn, this is gonna be an attractive body masterclass, but also a dating masterclass at the same time. Geez, whole fusion. There's 3 pillars to building the attractive body as a busy man. First is training, second is nutrition, and third, you may not have heard it before, it's gonna be structure. And we're gonna go through them one by one by one. For training, you wanna keep in mind like the minimum viable training principle when you are busy. We're not here to spend so much time in the gym like a bodybuilder because that's not our goal. Our goal isn't to have like 30-inch arms and like a thick neck that causes sleep apnea and to be unhealthy. We want to live a high like energy life, but also have an attractive body. Be lean, but not be super skinny, and have some meat on our bones at the same time. And we can do that following the minimum viable training principle. And what is that? It's spending less time in the gym, but having higher intensity. So 2 to 4 days in the gym, that's all you need as a busy man. Time block out, max 60 minutes for each like day, and that's really all that you need. I'm doing a 3x full body schedule, and I'm in and out of the gym within like 45 to like 50 minutes, depending on if I talk to people or not. And I've built the body of my dreams. I feel happy, confident. You can hear it in my voice. I'm not faking this. This is exactly like what I envisioned when I first started lifting. Of course, I can always improve. Of course, I'm still getting stronger in the gym. I'm not just going to maintain. But I am extremely happy with where I'm at, and that's where you can be. I'm not here to go pro. I'm not here to have the best physique on social media. I'm here to live a happy, fulfilling life where I've got all areas taken out. I've got the love. I've got the work, the purposeful business, the purposeful job and whatnot. I've got the physique. I've got my health in check. That's what it is at the end of the day. And that's exactly what I preach on this channel. And if that's what you believe in, if you want help getting to that point of becoming what I call the Renaissance man, I'm actually a fitness coach. I help guys like you get into that position. So first link down below, book or call me one-to-one. We'll talk about your goals, your situation, story, and whatnot, and discuss on that call whether or not it makes sense for us to work together. So back to where I was saying, less time in the gym, high intensity. The sets, you don't have to do like 4 plus 5, 6 sets like everyone on social media tells you to do. No, do 2 sets in the beginning. We're trying to do as minimum as possible. And the second that you stop seeing results out those 2 sets, like let's say you're trying to get stronger at a rep range of 5 to 8. I know it's a weird rep range, or 6 to 8. And you're stuck at 6 for the longest time ever at the same weight. The weight's not going up no matter how many more reps you do. Increase the sets to 3 sets and start doing that. You don't want to do more volume than necessary. Keep it as low as necessary so you get in and out of the gym fast, but to the point where you're still getting the results that you want. And the second that you start losing progress, because the only way you're going to see progress is if you're actually getting stronger in the gym, that's when you increase the volume. Not before, that's just going to be a waste of time. And honestly, I wouldn't go any more than like 4 sets. You can do 4 sets, but I would keep that temporary. Like if you're stuck at a weight for 3 sets, go up to 4 sets. And then once you get out of that plateau, go back down to 3 sets. Rep range, I would stick to the 4 to 10 rep range. 4 to 6, I do for my heavier lifts, like my squats, bench press, deadlifts, and overhead press. And then I'll do like 6 to 8 for my like rows, my pull-ups and whatnot. Like whatever I'm trying to get like stronger at, I'll do 4 to 6. Whatever I'm trying to have like the happy medium of getting stronger and having like, I guess my main compound lifts are 4 to 6. My secondary compound lifts that I'm not really like trying to like increase as much or don't like work as many muscle groups, I'm doing like 6 to 8. And then isolations, if I include them, which I do, 8 to 10 reps. I mean, I don't need to do 20 to 30 rep ranges. I'm not trying to be the biggest guy in the gym. I'm just trying to have, again, an attractive body that looks good, but is also not going to cost me an arm and a leg and all my time to build, to make like 1% extra progress, because there's no point in that. There's other areas in life that I can go forward. I'm not here to live in the gym and be some weird gym rat, gym bro. In terms of how far they should be taken to intensity and failure, they should be taken as close as possible for their isolations, if not at failure, within like 1 to 2 reps. Isolations, they target one muscle group. So if you're doing bicep curls, that's just hitting one muscle group. If you're doing like tricep extensions or overhead extensions, whatever you call them, they're hitting the triceps. etc., etc. Most of them are cables or machines to make it simple for you. Compounds, on the other hand, think about your bench press, your squats, and all that stuff. That's going to target multiple muscle groups, which makes it more efficient, which is why I'm going to recommend that you focus on getting stronger at those and prioritize those in your training plan so you can get in and out of the gym. Since things like your bench press will target your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps, your pull-ups will target your back, like your lats, and like your biceps as well. So instead of doing like a bunch of bicep curls, a bunch of like rows and whatnot, and you're hitting them all in one movement, which makes it more efficient. But with that being said, when there's more muscle groups being involved, it's also going to be a higher risk of injury, which is why I recommend and science recommends that you go 1 to 3 reps left in the tank. So 1 rep left in the tank, that'll feel like you can do a bunch of bench presses, and like the last rep that you're on, you just barely get it, and you know that you would need a spotter for the next one. That's what I would recommend. That's what I would call 1 rep left in reserve. And then 3 reps, again, it's like 2 more reps after that, and so on and so forth. As you get more inclined to the gym, like acclimated to it, if you're not already in there, you'll get used to like how far you can push your body. But again, less time in the gym, high intensity. You want to keep that intensity high since you're doing such like lower volume and less time in the gym. You want to focus on getting stronger. The compound movements, that's going to be your squat, your hinge, which could be any sort of deadlift, a push and pull, which are going to be your bench press. It's going to be your overhead press. It's going to be, and then for the pull, that's going to be your pull-ups and a row. That's like the bare minimum of what you need. You can add in isolations as you go on, but start with those 6 movements and do each of those movements twice a week. I meant to put a picture here. Maybe I'll edit one in if I'm feeling generous, but of like all like the movements. But just include those 6 movements: a squat, some sort of a deadlift, a bench press, a pull-up, row, and whatever the overhead press. I don't know, like whichever one I totally just blanked on. And that's really all that you need. And for abs, I would recommend on top of those compound movements to do leg or knee raises, either on the ground or hanging, and some sort of a plank. You can do cable crunches, but I mean, I'm not going to do that in public. It looks a little sus, so that's just not for me. I don't have that kind of confidence yet. Even after almost 4 years of lifting, I'm still not going to go down to the ground and do that. It looks a little weird. Maybe in the future if I did more research into it, but for now, I just been doing like planks, especially like the RKC plank, which maximizes the tension on your abs, so you're not like planking for like 5 minutes, just barely feeling the burn. And then hanging leg and knee raises, they work your lower abs, which aren't really targeted, unlike like the top part of your abs, which are pretty much hit through like your heavier compound movements that you're doing. So that's really it. It doesn't really take that much in terms of training. And you don't want to worry too much about your weak points, like, oh, I need to do the isolations and whatnot. My biceps aren't growing after like 2 weeks of going to the gym, because you are already weak. So don't worry about your weak points. You know, the second after you make some progress in your bench press and all those other lifts, you're getting stronger at those, you're seeing more muscle, and you notice like there's like a lagging body part behind after like, I don't know, like 3 months of lifting, then I would suggest start training that. Because there's no point in doing more if you don't need it, right? We want to keep this like a minimalist plan. If you've seen those online, like the minimalist plans, I just keep them as simple as possible, but also effective at the same time at building muscle. Cardio, I would say it's not really necessary for building your dream physique unless your goals are to run a faster time or, of course, feel better walking up the stairs. I would still highly recommend doing some sort of daily movement for like 15 minutes every single day, breaking a sweat, and what do you call it? Just you. It's not really much for your physique. It's more for like your energy and stuff like that. Or at the very least, do 3 sessions when you're not lifting. So maybe on 3 days you'll lift, or on 2 days you'll lift and whatnot. You can fill up like the extra days of training that you would have done with lifting, just to do some sort of like daily movements and break a sweat. It's going to boost your energy and boost your focus. So highly recommend. And again, all this should take max 60 minutes, right? We're not here to screw around, talk to friends, mute our phone on the like extension machine and take that up and whatnot. No, we're here to get a workout done and finish the job, and then go back to our work, go back to our family and friends and whatnot, and do what we want to do and just get in and out. And in this image, these are like a couple of my lists right here. I broke down exactly how to progress your weights. For you, as if you're a beginner, it's gonna be pretty easy. Just increase the weight, increase the reps every single week. But if you're a intermediate or advanced, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Like for me, I can only go up like 1 rep each and every time, or like 5-10 pounds. For you, it could be like a lot more. So let's say that you're given a rep range of 4 to 6, like for my bench press right here. Right here, I was able to hit 185 for 3 sets of 6. So next week, I was like, okay, my goal is 195 for 3 sets of 4, and I actually surprised myself and got more. So now the goal is, okay, I was pretty consistent with that. I'm gonna try to go up by 1 more rep and see what happens. If I didn't get if I got like 6, 5, 4, next week I would try to make it a goal to get to 5, and so on and so forth. Not increasing the weight until I can for sure hit the top end of my sets. And that's how you know that you're progressing. That's how you know you're eating enough, getting enough like recovery and stuff like that. Is that if you're progressing enough in the gym, that's a good sign. If you're plateauing, check out your diet, which is what we're gonna go with right here. Simple eating. I am not a fan of the crash diets that everyone always talks about and glazes, like the keto diet, the carnivore, and all these magical diets that are so good for you. Like, no, it's all like BS, right? What I propose is keeping it as simple as possible. You go to your fridge, you go to your pantry, you're gonna take out as much processed food as humanly possible. Of course, have some here and there when you're going out with some friends and whatnot. Go out to the restaurants, go out to eat, maybe have some unhealthy stuff. But for like 80-90% of the time, your diet should be consisting of whole foods. Think like your Greek yogurt, steak, stuff that's been existing for the past century is the new rule that you should be following. And then on top of that, you want to be eating 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Again, you don't need 300 plus pounds unless you're like a 300-pound person, right? And even then, if you're 300 pounds, more likely than not, your goal is to go down. But you want to do that of your target body weight. So if you're maintaining, and let's say you're like 160 pounds, like I am, you're gonna be eating about like 160 grams of protein to maintain, or like whatever 0.7 times 160 is. If your goal is to bulk up to, I don't know, like 175, you would eat 175 grams of protein, or whatever the 0.7. You get the gist, right? Eat in your target body weights for your protein per gram. So 155 grams, or like 155 pounds, 155 grams. Goal is 175, eat 175 grams of protein a day, or whatever 0.7 times that is. Next, tracking calories and protein. This is like probably like if you don't want to do like a lot of tracking, this is what I preach in the minimalist program, is that you do as little as possible but just enough. 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. You develop some go-to meals. You understand what your food is, like what's in it, like how many grams of protein are in these eggs. So like, if you have a very like variable diet, you might need to track more until you simplify your diet into like more simpler foods. Unless you like the food track, then that's one thing. But I don't like to track my food. I feel like it's very annoying. I don't want to be some like robot bodybuilder who like pulls out a scale on vacation and tracks on MyFitnessPal and whatnot. No. So for me to avoid that, I follow a couple simple rules. One is the PCC rule. PCC, that stands for protein, carbs, and color. Each one of my meals, every single day, to maximize my macronutrients, like protein, fats, and carbs, and my micronutrients, like all my vitamins and minerals that I need every single day to be fully myself, to have the energy, to have like the confidence and whatnot, to like feel like fully focused in my work and in the gym, to feel recovered, is by following this method. So every single meal, I fill up on protein first. You can see in each one of these pictures there's some sort of protein. Steak, Greek yogurt, ground beefs, eggs, and whatnot. Carbs, you got your rice, you got your berries, which can also count as your color too. Potatoes, rice underneath that. And these two things, which are standalone. I had like veggies and carbs on the side, but again, if you want to keep your diet as simple as possible, which I suggest, follow the PCC rule. Track at first for like 2 to 3 weeks so you understand what you're eating and how many calories or how full you need to feel to have your goals. If you notice that you're starting to like slip up and might mean in like the gym, like your strength numbers are going down, that probably means that you're under eating. Have another like piece of toast or something, and just increase the food, track what kind of meals you have and readjust from there until like the weight's like slowly going up like you want it to go. And if you're losing fat, again, if the mirror never lies, the scale never lies, just use the mirror. If it's not going down, then maybe you have to start eating a little bit less or moving a little bit more. I'd recommend going in a 300 to 500 calorie deficit or surplus, depending on your goals. It's slow enough where you won't lose muscle, but it's fast enough where you're gonna like cutting down like you're like for like the fat, it's like slow enough where you won't lose muscle, but it's fast enough where you're like losing a decent amount of fat. For building muscle, it's fast enough to maximize muscle gain. So you'll gain like 0.25, a half pound, or even like a pound a week, depending on like how much calories you eat, versus accumulating a bunch of fat if you went to like a dirty bulk. This is what I call a lean bulk right there for your surplus. And I don't know what this is called, a lean deficit, I don't know. You want to keep things as slow as possible to maximize fat loss, but minimize like muscle loss, or to maximize fat. You get the gist, right? So keep things as simple as possible, track your food for a bit, understand what you need to get in your body, what your goals are, and how much food you need too, and just adjust from there. Develop some go-to meals. Like every single day I'll have the Greek yogurt for my breakfast, lunch, 4 eggs, 4 things of spinach, 4 slices of sourdough. Dinner, it's pretty variable, but if I'm ever feeling like low energy, low sex drive, like the strength's not going up in the gym, I'll just adjust my diet from there. Or if like the mirror, like my muscles are going down, I just adjust from there. So, like you don't have to be like a robot bodybuilder who tracks their food all the time, but just be aware of your body's signals. Is like my muscle mass, is it increasing the way I want it to, or is it not? And just adjust from there. Last but not least, consistency through structure. A perfect plan, it can be push-pull legs, it can be a 2-day split. But a perfect plan is simply one that's going to be executed. So you got to ask yourself exactly, what can I realistically do? Can I do 2 days in the gym, 4 days in the gym? When and where can I do it? And if you want to as well, which I highly recommend, you should time block that on your schedule too. As you can see, here's a couple of examples. Oh, my voice is going out. You got the laryngitis still. Here's a couple of examples of my schedule and my client's schedule. Mine is a little bit more autistic. There's a lot of, everything is kind of time blocked out, so I never waste any time. My client, he wanted to go for more like a reasonable approach where he's got all his priorities of the day time blocked out and leaving stuff up for, leaving a couple extra empty space in case he wants to hang out with friends and whatnot. So he's got his workouts planned, he's got his meals planned and whatnot, he's got his work times all put up. All his priorities that he wants are on his schedule, and that's what we're kind of shooting for. Because when you time block out all your priorities and you lock in specific times that you're going to train, eat your meals, it's a lot easier for you to hold yourself accountable, to lead yourself. Because if you don't, you leave things up to chance. And when we leave things up to chance, our comfort zone, like our inner voice is like, oh, don't do that, like skip out, you're feeling lazy, you're feeling tired. Like my client Rain, the reason why I had him do this is because he skipped out on one of his workouts because he wanted to play video games. And I told him, okay, you can still play video games, but you have to time block out exactly when you do them and when you're going to work out so we don't miss out on the workout ever again. So we did that, and now as you can see here, he's got his video games all blocked out right there, and he's got his workouts blocked out. And now he's never going to miss out another session because it's on the schedule. Because when you time block things out, you're committing to it. You're holding yourself accountable. But if you have troubles with accountability, again, I am a fitness coach. I help guys in your position build the body, build the discipline that they need to succeed in their dream physiques, business, and whatnot. And if that sounds like you, where you want to build that attractive body, but you just don't know where to start, you need some guidance, you need some accountability. I'm a coach. I help guys in your position. First link down below in the description. Book a Call Me 101. On the call, we'll talk about your goals, your story, your situation, and whatnot, and whether or not it makes sense for us to work together.